Good morning, everybody. Lenny, thank you again. So if you're into the slow draft, you want to go where the link is, Lenny's putting it on the chat room right now. It's good to see everybody up and going at it this morning. So we've got Andrea. Good morning. And let me pause for a moment before we really get started talking about starting pitchers. I want to talk about that this morning. I want to look at where they may be ranked now. Where do you think they really should be ranked? But Andrea working tirelessly on the draft guide, and she does it every year. She does such an incredible job. And so, guys, be on standby for that. Announcements, I'm sure, will be coming soon when we can buy that gym. And so I'm going to get me one. I can't wait to see it. I want to see how my looking at things compares to Andrea's. So remember that. Draft guide, you can go buy them anywhere, but you can't buy hers but here, right? So you want to get that draft guide. Good morning to Brooks. Good morning to Clarona. Good morning to Douglas Boyle. Good morning to George. George, I don't think you're 78th ranked. I think you're better than that. Lenny Malpow, NYC. Of course, Phil Chaplin, Royals 29, boom, none other than Kevin Hastings, Taco, Timothy Hooker, and guess Lavonda, whoever you may be. I wish you would register. It'd be great to get all you guys registered if you're guests so we can include you in the shout-outs every day. How about that? We'll do that again tonight, right after my show today. Just a little preview. Kevin Hastings, aloha from Hawaii. And tonight, you want to stay tuned because he gave me a little sneak peek Tuesday night. If you haven't listened to our show, go back, play it, because on demand, Chappie and I were on Tuesday night at 7. Boy, Chappie, my time frames are off. And we talked prospects, we talked risers, we talked fallers. And tonight, Chappie's going to be talking rookies and prospects. And frankly, I'm ready. I'm all in. Can't wait for that one. So there we go. Here we're going to go this morning. Where do we go? What do we talk about? I'm going to stay out of the Astro Red Sox business. I talked about that ad nauseum on Tuesday morning. I'm going to stay out of the Nolan Arenado speculation. I'm going to stay out of Osuna and Castellanos. Lenny, you did a great job covering that. What I do want to get into this morning with you, chat room, are starting pitchers. And looking at where they may be ranked early on, where do you think they should be ranked? And I guess what really matters is where do I think they should be ranked? Because this is Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports podcast, right? So first of all, Chappie, I love the exclamation marks. Andrea, thank you. Sound is good. And yes, our plan is to be on Tuesday nights. Now, I think we're going to do it a little later. East Coast time's killing me, but we may try to do that a little later on Tuesday nights at 9. That's our plan. So this coming Tuesday night, be ready for some Arnie and Chappie at 9 p.m. Tuesday night here on Lenny Melnick, FantasySports.com. Let's take a look this morning, everybody, at where the starting pitchers are. And for purposes of this show, I'm going to assume a 10 or 12 team league. No 15 teamers, no 14 teamers. I'm going to assume a 10 or 12 team league. And doing that, my first question is, how many of you in the chat room, seriously, look to pick a pitcher in the first round? And I'm not one of those. I like to get a batter who has power, who has speed, who has contact ability. Yes, I know there aren't so many of those, but that's who I like to get with my first round pick. And I like to wait on aces until at least the second round. Now, that's just me. So everybody could be different. Andrea is agreeing with me. No starting pitchers in round 1. But as I look at draft boards and rankings of players, I'm going to start with the number 1 ranked pitcher on the board that I'm looking at, and it is Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees. In the draft board rankings I'm looking at, he's ranked as the 6th best overall player, which would mean he would go middle of the first round. Now, What does Cole offer? Well, he offers strikeouts for sure, low walks if history's any indicator. He's going to pick up probably a lot of wins, though we don't chase wins. He's going to pick up probably a good K to walk ratio. I got to think, Garrett Cole is your number one SP, but do I pick him sixth if I'm in the sixth spot? The answer is no. No, I don't. I like Garrett Cole after Francisco Lindor. I like Garrett Cole after Nolan Arenado. I like Garrett Cole after Trey Turner. I like Garrett Cole after Freddie Freeman. Now, if my analysis on Garrett Cole applies to him, it certainly applies to the next two pitchers who come in ranked at 9 and 11. And again, assuming a 12-team league, you're still talking first round. And those two are Jacob deGrom and Justin Verlander. Now, I've got more concerns certainly about deGrom and Verlander than I do Cole. Here they are. deGrom, here's the problem I got with deGrom. I know you don't chase wins, but by gosh, is he not snake bit when it comes to wins? Pitching in Flushing, the Mets just don't seem to rise to the occasion and score the runs that would put W's in the W column for Mr. deGrom. The concern I have with Verlander, he's 37 years old. And that arm, as I said Tuesday night, has been through a lot of battles in the last 10 or so years. So I'm hesitant on deGrom. I'm hesitant on Verlander. The 15th ranked player, Max Scherzer, and the 17th ranked player, Walker Buehler, round out 5 pitchers ranked in the top 20 at this time. So now let's do this. You've got Cole, deGrom, Verlander, Scherzer, and Buehler. Arguably the best 5 starting pitchers in the fantasy draft, correct? Now we could argue, we could go on down the list. We could say Strasburg, we could say Bieber, we could say Flaherty, we could say Clevenger. But for purposes of the show today, not ranking those players so much individually, but ranking where do we draft pitchers. Okay, so I like Cole, I like Verlander, I like deGrom, I like Scherzer, I like Buehler, all in the second round. So therefore, if you're drafting and you draft that Acuna 1 or Trout 2, and Lenny mentioned, do you really trust Yelich with the injury problems? Good question. But these type players that certainly go in round 1 ahead of the pitchers, round 2 could be a pitcher frenzy. Really, I think round 2, guys, is where you have got to pick an ace starting pitcher, because realistically, you could see those 5, Cole, deGrom, Verlander, Scherzer, Buehler, all gone by the end of the second round, if not before the end of the second round. And we all know there's going to be that person in your league who's going to draft a pitcher in the first round. What is funny to me or interesting to me is how we are copycatters in draft rooms. I see Cole go, I better draft deGrom. I better draft Verlander. Could that happen? Certainly. But I'm thinking, for me, I'm going to take hitter round 1, pitcher round 2. Well, we've mentioned 5 pitchers, so now I want to go to what I think are the next 5. And one of these, shaky, okay? Shaky. We're 10 minutes in. How about a fast 10 minutes? Good morning, Andrea Brooks, Corona, Doug, George, Lenny, Mal Powell, NYC, Phil Chaplin, Kevin Hastings, Taco, putting on the Ritz. Oh, yeah. Timothy Hooker. Remember Taco? If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go? You remember that song? putting on the Ritz. That's Taco. And he's in the chat room. Wow. Timothy Hooker, good to see all you guys this morning. And I'm looking at the chat room as we talk, so you can give me some feedback. I'm going to that next group of 5. Strasburg. These are my group of 5, okay? Strasburg, Shane Bieber, Jack Flaherty, Mike Clevenger, and Aaron Nola. They're my next 5. Now, this is Arnie's next 5. You're going to see in some rankings, Chris Sale ranked ahead of Aaron Nola. Okay? But not on my board. Strasburg, Bieber, Flaherty, Clevenger, and Nola are my next 5. Now, if we're going to take the first group, we've already talked about the Scherzers. We've already talked about the Coles and the Verlanders and the DeGroms and the Buehlers. We talked about those 5 already. I think we can consensusly say they are first or second rounders. The question is now, where do you take my next group of 5, Strasburg, Bieber, Flaherty, Clevenger, and Nola? Because I think they're the next 5. Are they also taken second round, third round? I think so. So if we're in a 12-team league, I'm saying in the first 36 picks, the first 3 rounds, those 10 pitchers are off the board. The question is, if you pick a Buehler, Cole, Verlander, DeGrom, Scherzer in round 1 or 2, do you then also pick that second tier stud pitcher in round 3? Because let's face it, after Strasburg, Bieber, Flaherty, Clevenger, and Nola are gone, how many potential aces still lurk in the draft rooms? Malpal says taking those guys in the second is an overpay for me. I think the thing that's got to be said is we've got to know the league rules. I think so many players in fantasy baseball, I don't think it's me, I don't think it's Phil Chaplin, I don't think it's you guys maybe in Taco or Timothy Hooker, I don't know, but do you scour the league rules and league settings? Because if you're in a 5x5, different than being possibly in a 15, 16 category league, you've got to wait out. Is this a hitter heavy scored league? Is this a evenly scored league? If it's an evenly scored league, I'm going for 2 stud pitchers, 1 in the second and 1 in the third round. I think you have to, because they're gone. It's a shallow reservoir. What do I mean? Okay, let's just flip. I'm going to cover more pitchers, okay? I'm doing this for example's sake only. Let's scoot ahead to pick 124 ranking in Fantasy Pros and ranking number 125. 1 is a hitter, 1 is a pitcher. Number 124 in Fantasy Pros rankings as of today is Michael Brantley. I think we would say Michael Brantley is a really good hitting outfielder. Number 125 is a starting pitcher, and his name is Lance Lynn. According to these rankings I'm looking at in fantasypros.com, they're even. Brantley and Lynn. 124, 125. But let's face it, chat room, if you are picking at 124, so we're mired deep in the 10th round, and those 2 guys are both still there in the 10th round, who do you take first? And that's my point. We're going to take Brantley first.